Okay, time to record audio for this week's Weekend Warrior. And if only I could come up with a gimmick for this. And a quick special thanks to today's server, Azure Twilight. That is where we ended up getting the capture for this video. Also, a quick thank you to Spooky the Ghost and to Desert Retro, the two players who ran with me on the adventure. Guys, the best part of playing Dot Hack Fragment is playing it with friends and making new friends along the way. Go ahead on, check out either the Fragment Resurgence or Dot Hack Network Discords. Find some people, say hi, party up, have yourself an adventure. Maybe check out these keywords here. Now, on to today's adventure. Hey everybody, this is Grumpy Old Guy Gaming. Thank you for joining me for yet another edition of The Weekend Warrior, the show where I play my Blade Master. Here we are joined up with Edge the Twin Blade and Zaveth the Long Arm. Zaveth and Edge having a conversation about what level to shoot for as far as the area is concerned. Edge says he's level 11, both myself and Zaveth are slightly higher in level, so we agree that it's probably best to push the envelope and go for a bit of a higher level area, maybe get Edge a level up here. And I will show you the graphic with the keywords and the level area we are going to momentarily. Let me pull that up real quick here. And there we go. It turns out to be a level 22 field that we go to. Keywords are Rainbow Vivacious Timberland. Wood element field. This happens to be one of my favorite field types. It's going to be a forest field. You can see the gems there sort of show you, well, your guess is as good as mine. I know there was an explanation somewhere in the manual as to what the gems meant and what took priority over the other as far as colors went. I never did understand it. I never cared to look too much into it. If you're an expert on the gems on these little maps here, please feel free to let me know what on earth they actually mean. In the meantime, we're going to cut back to the action. So we cut in already in the field here. I was a little bit distracted coming in, just sort of multitasking, which, as you know from these previous videos, never really has been my strong suit. But we're sitting here in the first field just sort of getting speed buffs up. As you could see in that upper left corner there, we have the gems for a potential awakening. Decide not to go for one in this particular episode, and we're going to move into the next room here. Apologies for the cuts on this. It's just me, switching between a couple tabs, not paying as much attention as I really should at the beginning of this run here, and I do apologize for that. Get into a bit of a battle here, have a Mimic, which is never fun, establishing momentum for a party. But we make it through, and once everything's all settled, decide to pick the next door to go through. Moving in, just a treasure chest here, so just kind of hang out. Edge will collect the loot, and we will move back. I'm going to take the remaining option to us this time. Next room has a portal, and inside it is another Mimic and a fresh Valkyrie. I guess less sodium than the canned variety, though it's coming out of a portal, so I suppose it would be a canned fresh, but I don't know. That was starting out kind of funny in my head and failed quickly. Next room's got a piney apple in it, one of the rarer grunty foods, though I suppose you could just keep going in and out of the field with one and collecting them that way. Here we've got a trio of Lambada knives, and I literally jumped the gun there and just decided to use my sword attack and finish that off before it could get to be a problem. Chest spawns, and we decide to head up the field here instead of to the side. Dead end room with a chest at the end, so not much for us to do here, just sort of hang out for a bit, appreciate the scenery before wandering back. Really nice, simple field here. Not too many options to go. Just a quick in and out sort of deal. And before you know it, we are right at the dungeon entrance. So we're going to head in here in a moment. Again, level 22 field, nothing too crazy outside of those mimics in the field though. And the important thing is, every time Edge gets a hit in, he's going to get crazy experience for this. Pop a Fairy's Orb here, and you see, we've got a rather large T-shaped room to start off here. Coming out of this portal looks to be a couple hell boxes, sorry. I keep calling them mimics, they're hell boxes, they're in that line. Also a gladiator. Just trying to keep the restoratives going as much as possible. There you saw Edge got a level up from an earlier kill. So already we're moving right along, getting him his experience, getting him some loot. Congratulations to be had there, and he's still picking up a fair chunk off those other monsters. I thought I saw a 17 there at the end. Gonna skip that dead end room at the bottom and just go to this medium-sized corridor. Got all kind of monsters coming out here. You got Hellbox, you got Valkyries. Look like 4 coming out. At this point, I'm sort of just taking the role of making sure nobody stays confused for long. Especially for, you know, I'm at 800 some hit points. I'm not overly concerned with one of these two wailing on me for a bit out of confusion, but it could be a quick night for the others if one would happen to turn on the other due to confusion, either Zaveth or Edge. Couple decent shots landed could put them in peril, especially in the middle of combat. So I basically spent half this dungeon with my fingers on the shortcut for a restorative and either resting on up or down on the direction pad. A useful little tip, I forget who mentioned it in the Discord one day, but they were talking about it. I didn't know up and down allowed you to target with consumables and spells. For your allies, like heals and whatnot. But that made things a lot easier to play. There you see Edge goes down in a hurry. I guess I didn't hit a confusion trigger quickly enough. That much damage in a single shot, I'm almost assuming was either Zaveth or myself. Don't think the monsters were hitting us quite that hard, although it is possible that I missed a critical there, or just a monster doing a ton of damage. Gonna backtrack to the smaller T room and up. Got a large room with that, like, big center cut out of it. Large rooms are always kind of a pain for me when recording. Just something about the way they draw makes them a little slow at the beginning. Here we've got some gladiators going. You'll notice I'm intentionally, staying in the background at the beginning of combat. Want to make sure that, hits are landed by everybody else because I'm a bit higher in level and I don't want to be, for me it's 1 experience per kill. It just doesn't make a lot of sense for me to be hacking away at it. Basically I'm running bodyguard duty here, which probably one of my favorite things to do, honestly. It lets me sit back and record awesome footage like this. Find our stairs down to level 2. Nice quick first floor there. And here we're going to pop a Fairy's Orb for the 2nd floor. Got sort of a twisting, turning sort of path here. Don't see too many dungeons like this in a linear fashion, just sort of snaking their way along. Zaveth is buffing the heck out of themselves and Edge. I'm just coasting along with my speed boost, and I don't know why I did the, stereotypical RPG slow walk there with a speed boost. Just something in that tickles my fancy a bit. I find it funny. Come up on another portal here, and I'll be honest, the monsters were dead there before I noticed them. All I know is they appeared and were hit hard. Into the next portal we go, and we've got a gladiator, a hellbox. Get through that relatively easy. Looks like some confusion may have triggered, but a restorative was popped nice and quick. Zaveth once again encouraging Edge to take the treasure. Moving into the next room here. Gonna complete our little bend around. We had an L-shaped room leading to an L-shaped room. This one's got a portal in it. Seems to be a trapped chest that came out of that though, so we're gonna go to a square-shaped room. It's the one with the little inserts on the sides. One is empty, the other has a chest. Taking a moment before bracing ourselves for already the final portal of this dungeon. A nice, quick area. Here we've got a hellbox. Looks like a gladiator, but it was gone before I really noticed anything, and the other monster went off screen and was taken care of before I really got turned around, so not much to do here, but, you know, go in and collect the chest. We'll of course give honors to Edge here, always trying to help out. Now, some of you may be wondering what kind of insane treasure could be found on this field, and that's a very valid question, and one that I usually am not capable of answering too well, because as you know, if you've been watching my videos, I have this terrible aversion to picking up treasure chests when in a party. We're kinda asking what he got out of the chest here. By where, I mean me specifically, out of blind boredom. And he's going to respond with a very interesting answer. Don't know if you noticed in the graphic, but his weapon changed there real quick shortly after opening the chest. He says he got a level 74 twin blade item, so a very high level weapon coming out of this. Just to show you some of the treasures that could potentially be found, I went ahead on a solo run. The next day, I'm recording this on a Saturday night. I recorded the solo run a couple hours previous. Let me go ahead and pull a couple clips of that up just to show you the kind of things you could potentially expect getting out of here. So yeah, like I said, just sort of warping in here, and this first room of the field has a chest behind us. Right away we pick up a demon spear, and I'm a little interested in that, so we'll just go ahead and check it out here. It's a level 46 long arm item with spirit drain. Looks to be wood element on some of the skills there, but a very fine weapon indeed. If you've got a long arm, that's certainly worth a shot at just logging in and seeing if you get your demon spear out of the chest. There's certainly a fine weapon for the arsenal. Gonna go ahead through here to another chest, and well, I'm just sort of looking, and this is actually where I ended up snapping the shot for the thumbnail for this, but you could see we pulled a cosmic staff out of that chest. Yep, good old Skullflower. Probably one of my favorite things about this field, just such a cool look to it. So if this is looking a little familiar, surprise, this is the shot. I'm gonna skip ahead here when we transition rooms and move a little further down into the dungeon, show off some of the different items that I managed to get through this adventure. Here I'm coming up on a Lambada knife and a couple of gladiators. Fortunate not to run into any mimics, but at the same time I'm soloing, so the mimics aren't a big deal to me. Pick up a resurrect out of that chest, nothing else really going on there. Skipping ahead to this corridor off the side of the T there, just come across a couple gladiators, but we're going to get a couple chest drops out of this, one out of each of them, and we get the full out of the first chest, but a green call out of the second, and a jungle rage in the chest sitting there. So some pretty high level scrolls, and the scrolls are useful, getting the moon out of that one. A, if you like keeping them as a consumable, and B, sell for quite a decent bit of money, especially those green calls. If you can get these summon elements, those sell for a ton as well. In the previous room there, I just picked up a healing elixir out of a jar, which is insane. Here we've got a couple of craft chests that drop. First chest yields a resurrect, and the second, well, that's a pair of resurrects, and we really can't argue with that now, can we? Moving into this room here, and just taking out a hell box, and it confuses us, but again, nothing really to our detriment. Probably the worst part of it is sitting there just waiting for the question marks to pop off. Fortunately, we pick up the Fool, which is an apt description for characters sitting there with a bunch of question marks. Just tried to end this one in a hurry and didn't quite do the job, so once again I'm stuck in a haze. Those question marks are really messing with me today, huh? But there's a chest behind us, so let's check it out. Another green call. Make that a pair of them. So we're racking up a nice bit of money here. Certainly help out buying stuff once we get back to town. Coming up on the last portal here, jumped ahead through most of the second floor, get a Lambada knife and a gladiator. Pick up a Dark God's axe. That's the most metal thing ever. Gonna check that out in the gear description here, and that is a level 49 heavy axe weapon. Got Axle Pain, Anti-Tornado, and Brandish in the skills. And we're going to move to the treasure chest here and show you what I pull real quick. And we end up pulling Divine Gloves and a pair of yellow candies. Now, I'm not going to lie, I've been sort of hunting for some over-leveled gear for this character of mine, this Blade Master, and the Divine Gloves are actually better than anything I've come across yet for him. So I'm going to go ahead and swap those out. That about does it for the solo portion of my run. Guys, thank you very much for watching again. I appreciate the views, I appreciate the attention. Thank you once again for watching another edition of the Weekend Warrior. This has been a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming. We'll see you around.